Let's get more on this from Eastern European politics expert Sergej Sumlenny. Sergej, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, just a couple of days ago, Putin was visiting Russian troops in occupied areas. Just how symbolic was Jens Stoltenberg's visit?
Good evening, and thank you for having invited me today. The visit of Stoltenberg is extremely important. It is the first visit of the NATO Secretary General to Ukraine, and it is a sign that the military support for Ukraine, political support for Ukraine, is not limited to bilateral support like from the specific NATO members like the UK or Poland, or Turkey, or Baltic states, or Germany, you name them, but by the alliance as a whole. And this is extremely important because up to now, the support for Ukraine was based on bilateral level support or by the EU support. And NATO, as the military alliance, as defensive alliance, tried to not be involved in this war as an organization. So now we see it is, I would say it can be, it is not yet, but it can be a game changer because it's a very powerful signal to both Ukrainians and to the Russians. Like it is not like some bilateral support of Ukraine anymore. No, the whole NATO stands behind Ukraine.
A symbol to Russia. How do you think Russia will view this?
Well, Russia needs to live with that. This war was started by Russia exclusively, and Russia started this war unprovokedly, and the West was ready to give Russia practically everything regarding Ukraine. Moreover, the war started not in 2022, the war started in 2014 with Russia's annexation of Crimea and later invasion of Donbass. And back then, Ukraine was a neutral state. It was written in Ukrainian constitution that there can be no military base of foreign countries on the territory of Ukraine, except of Russian military bases in Crimea, no membership of NATO, no nothing. Ukraine was technically a neutral state. That is what Russia always said. We want Ukraine to be neutral. Ukraine was neutral. Russia attacked it anyway. Then until 2022, the West and NATO could offer everything to Russia, but Russia attacked Ukraine full scale. So Russia needs to accept they lost the war, they lost Ukraine, they lost Finland, they lost Sweden. They will leave with expansion of NATO because of their wrong decision.
Now, you mentioned Finland there, who just had an accelerated membership. Zelensky has repeatedly asked for an accelerated NATO membership. That doesn't look like it's going to be likely, but membership does look like it's on the cards. What would it mean for Ukraine?
Well, for Ukraine, Ukraine is looking for security, for stable security guarantees, not the guarantees like Ukraine received during the Budapest memorandum, as Ukraine has given all the nukes to Russia and got assurance from the West in English-speaking text of the memorandum and guarantees from Russia in Russian-speaking text of the memorandum, which didn't help Ukraine. Ukraine needs real security guarantees, preferably in the form of demilitarized Russia or in a form of a very strong Ukrainian army. I talked today with my friends who are experts in security, and we discussed how can it be, how can it look like if Ukraine doesn't get full NATO membership. And there are different solutions for that. There can be so-called backdoor membership, de facto security alliances on bilateral level or on regional level. For example, in the form of so-called intermarium alliance with Poland, Baltic states, Slovakia, and other countries, or extremely massive arming of Ukraine, including jets, including high-tech equipment, which would make Ukraine a very hard target for Russia. There are many options, but anyway. It is also what has been told today by Stoltenberg. Ukraine's place is within the NATO. Ukrainian army is de facto already integrated in the NATO system. Ukraine has one of the most capable military forces in Europe and maybe in the world. And Ukraine is the only country which has practical experience of defending its land for over 1 year against a nuclear power state. And that is like no country in the world has something like that in their CV.
Sergej Sumlenny, thank you for your insight.